Hello, good day. My name is Ropa, and this is Beyond the Role Leadership Unboxed. And on this episode, we are navigating the workplace, and the theme here is how to succeed, how to stand out, and navigate the realities of work. And today, we're joined by Reggie, who is an HR executive, and that's such an advantage because we have today someone who's on the inside, someone who is actually then hiring people, who has had experiences of hiring people, experiences of all these recruitment processes, and knows how these things go through. So, Reggie, from your experience leading talent acquisition, what do candidates misunderstand most about the hiring process?
What they need to understand, I think, the most is that it's just a process. And filling out the application and submitting the resume and cover letter is not just enough yet. Following up is super important to be seen, because a lot of larger organizations, their processes are so antiquated, and the hiring managers are not necessarily responding to the recruiters in time, where people will just get missed, and it's not on purpose. It's just the processes. They're very, very antiquated, and there's a flood of talent right now in the market.
Oh, thank you for that. What are the biggest mistakes you see candidates making during interviews?
Boy, sometimes when I see a candidate come in and they are nervous, they don't say anything. And I almost wish that candidates would just say, okay, I'm just a little bit nervous, just putting it out there, and being authentic, because once that ice is broken, then they can perform so much better. I really see that sometimes, not all the time. And sometimes people come in and they're very, and not a lot of people, but sometimes people could come in overly confident because they're not confident, and then they start crumbling during the interview. Again, I think just full transparency in a very professional way, by saying, I'm just a bit nervous, please bear with me. That just breaks the ice, and then it becomes a conversation.
It becomes a conversation. There's somewhere that I've read as well, it was a conversation with someone that during the hiring process, it's about getting to know each other. I think that's one thing that we also miss as candidates, because the one thing that I'm trying to do is to impress you, and at the same time, but you're also trying to impress me. How do people create that balance of, in as much as I want to impress the hiring manager, in as much as I want to impress the recruiter, they're also supposed to be impressing me, because this is a company that they are also saying, can you come and join us? How do I create that balance?
I definitely think that as a candidate, as much as the employer is interviewing you, you should be interviewing the employer. If they don't have the right practices in place, as far as the recruitment practices in place, you should know right at that front end that this may or may not be a good company that you want to join. However, if a recruiter is not getting to know the candidate about what makes them tick, what motivates them, what demotivates them, they're missing the mark. So if you can drive that in a conversation, then usually the first conversation, I ask people, why us, why now? And that is a wide open question. Well, why us? If you can sell, my name is, these are the skills that I can bring to the table. This job description is everything that I can do. I have the degree, I've got this experience. But why I want to work for your company is because I want to, and whatever that company does, make that part of the conversation. So if their mission statement is to give back to community, make your response. That's what drives me. I want to give back to community. So tie whatever that company does, their mission statement, with what you can bring to the table, along with what drives you.
So it's, from what I'm getting, it's not only about me as a person and what I can give the company, it's how I can be enrolled, or how I can put myself into the company and adjust, be intertwined into the company systems, and what I can contribute aligned to the company's mission.
100%.
Sure.
Because you want to show you can add value. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
If you got the skill and the experience, even a little bit of experience, maybe no experience, but if you can show you can bring value to the team and help that company get to wherever they're supposed to get, you're going to be ahead of everybody else.
Oh, so thank you for that. So it's also researching about the company before going for the interview.
100%.
Thank you for that. What makes someone stand out immediately when you meet them for the first time?
Well, I want to say, like when I met with you, you cold called me. I'll use us as an example. Your ability to communicate what your vision was. You know what I mean? You wanted me to come here. I wanted to know a little bit more about you. What was it that you were trying to accomplish? When somebody can articulate with their thinking or their vision, that to me speaks a lot. The other thing is the way the person presents themselves visually, right? Being dressed for the interview, for an example. I've had people come in with suit and tie, which impresses me. I've had people call me and say, what should I wear? I like that. I do, because they might be working in construction, and they may not be wanting to wear a suit and tie. You know what I mean? So it's being capable and confident enough to say, what should I or do? I think that impresses me. But the ability to communicate.
The ability to communicate. Thank you for that. Once someone gets their first job, now we're getting into the job. What should they focus on in their first year or in their first few months to set themselves apart?
Oh, that's a great question, and the answer is relationships. Building relationships. So when a person gets hired, first thing they should do is obviously learn the job, tactical, right? But then to identify who are the leaders throughout the entire organization, and finding a reason to get to know them, finding a reason for them to get to know you, and have them know a little bit about you. One of the things I like to do, and I've done this in all the companies I worked at, is that when we're hiring somebody, and it's somebody who's worked for me, I will say for the first 2 months, these are the people I want you to meet. And so, these are the people you're going to talk to, maybe not every day or not even every week, but these are the people who I want you to get to know and just spend a day in a life with them. That might be an hour meeting, it might be a half a day job shadowing, but getting to know who your coworkers are, the internal leaders are, and just start building relationships, business relationships.
So it's relationship building.
100%.
Thank you for that. Workplace politics is something many professionals struggle with. How should people navigate it effectively?
You're never ever not going to see it. You're always going to see behavior, right? I think, and I'll speak for myself, okay, in order you have to be savvy, not partaking in it. And it goes back to personal integrity for myself. Like, I won't put up with people being mean to each other. I just won't be a part of that. It's all about business. As an HR person, I've had to do investigations where an employee felt so belittled and bullied by their peer group, where I've had to do investigations and literally find the root cause. And it's usually a person who's a ringleader within a business unit who just makes life terrible for a person because they're a bully, and other people partake because they don't want to be bullied, so they become part of the group. It causes so much hurt for a business that it has to stop. And usually there's a straw that's broke when it gets to me. Oftentimes employers don't hear about it until somebody leaves. It's
Yeah.
part of an exit interview, or sometimes employers don't know about it at all, and but there's a ton of turnover, right?
Yeah.
So, so I'm talking from an HR person looking and doing investigations. I have been bullied before in my career, and what I have done is, and it's just, you know, people who want to get ahead, so they try to make you look bad kind of thing, and they try to, you know, and that happened earlier in my career. What I did is I just kept poised, kept very much calm. It hurt, but I certainly didn't say anything to anybody. But one day it happened, and there was a witness to it, and I made it stop like that because I had a witness. And essentially, you have to put your foot down at some point and just say enough's enough. You know, I'm here to do a job. We're both adults. The behavior exhibited in front of so and so needs to cease and desist. I'm not going to put up with it. Period.
That's awesome. So in my last episode, I interviewed the CEO, Chris. His people in his workplace call him Chief Adult Officer because he's all about we are all adults.
100%.
Came here to work, so behave like one. So
yes, I think he and I would get along well.
Definitely, Chris. Definitely. How does emotional intelligence help people manage relationships and conflicts at work?
I think it's so important. It's a skill set that not a lot of people even talk about. I think they think it's fluffy.
Oh yeah.
But it's not. Emotional intelligence is really having the ability to understand that human beings, people, co-workers, bosses, they come to present, whether it be at work or at church or community events, home, they come with experiences from past, right? From the past, whether it be growing up in a situation at home, whether it be being in a current state of everything looking perfect, but really behind closed doors, there's abuse, or there's addiction, or there's mental health issues going on in the home, but they come into work and now they have to be that leader, right? Or it could be a coworker sitting next to you and it looks like she has everything, she looks dressed, speaks well, has the piece of paper behind her, the degrees, but inside she's broke, right? Or it could be, you know, and I'm just gonna say another person who is the boss and doesn't understand any of that, but has been given the title of being a boss, a manager, supervisor, a leader of people, but doesn't have that skill set of understanding that people are human and they come to work and they're human. And what they're coming to work for is not just to collect a paycheck and get benefits, but is to feel like they're part of a work family that's healthy. At the same time, giving value to the employer, right? And so when a leader doesn't have the ability to have emotional intelligence, or a boss, that's the difference between a boss and a leader, right? So I'm going to refer to them as bosses. You do as I say, right? And they don't care how we speak, right? I think as we have choice, do we want to work for those kinds of people? The answer is no, right? But emotional intelligence is so important as a leader, a manager of people, as a co-worker, right? And it can make or break a company. It can make or break a company. And I think the companies that do it really well, very successful, they have emotional intelligence, but they also have the balance of being a business person, having strategic results, having data analytics, but it's how you get it. So how I explain emotional intelligence is this. Imagine a house and the foundation. The building that we're in right now has a foundation, a concrete foundation. Imagine that being people. And there's two walls. What we do, holding up the roof, right? Which is like the mission and the vision statement of any organization. So what we do every day matters. It's the data analytics. It's the business operations. How we do it, which is the other side of the wall, holding up the roof, the mission and the vision. How we communicate with each other, right? the emotional intelligence, the active listening skills, how to delegate to people, conflict resolution. How we get to the results is equally important. Otherwise, the people, the house, it'll all keep, and the people suffer, right? So what we do and how we do it has to be equal.
It has to be equal.
And it happens through emotional intelligence.
That's a powerful way of illustrating it. Thank you so much for putting it that way. You have been involved in labor negotiations.
I have.
With maybe multiple unions, and also you've also been involved in negotiations with people within the company and the different organizations that you've worked with. What lessons about negotiation apply to individuals who are negotiating for their own careers, especially in this environment where the job market is not as lucrative, or it's not as flexible? How does a person negotiate or be able to show their worth beyond it seemingly look like a favor that a company has given them a job?
Okay, so yes, I've negotiated with labor unions on the management side. And it really doesn't differentiate whether you're a candidate negotiating with an employer. Or your question, am I spot on? Is that your question?
Yes.
It's the ability, the success is that one side, whether it be the employer, has an objective. It could be the labor union, has an objective, right? It could be an employer has an objective. It could be the boss, right? Or the leader has an objective. In order to negotiate, you have to somewhat meet in the middle. So you have to understand what is that their need is, and what you can bring to the table. And if you're able to successfully say this, you know what their need is, and being able to say this is what I could bring to the table, going back to value, right? What value as a candidate you can bring to the table, that will differentiate you with the other candidates. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Profoundly. Profoundly. When is the right time? So for people who are getting to early career, maybe these are people that have never been in the workplace before. When is the right time for someone to advocate for themselves, either for a raise or for a promotion or for a new opportunity within an organization?
Sure. So going back, somebody who doesn't have past experience in a career, I would recommend that person do something like volunteerism. So if they're really good with computers or data analytics, it could be maybe somebody who wants to get into human resources, or somebody who wants to get whatever the person is specialized in, right? Find an organization within the community that would like to have that skill set you can bring to the table. You can put that on your resume, you build your skill set up, that kind of thing. Once you get into an employer and you have a job, you have to perform. You have to perform, and it all goes back to that job description I talked about earlier, right? And then every job description, there should be a strategic plan within the organization, and with that strategic plan with the person, what they do every day, there has to be a goal that they do every day, once a quarter or once a year. There's data analytics, how you move that needle in the right direction for that employer, the position you hold. And if you can go above and beyond your job description, if you can show that you can add more value to the organization or to the team, memorialize it. So you know what I do is since January through June is a measurement period for me. So there's some things I did. I did my job well, but there's a couple of things I just knocked the ball out of the park. And so what I've done is I write those things down. It's just for myself, right? And so I'm going to do that again in December, and I'm going to show that to my boss, and I'm going to say to him, I did my job well. 3, meet standards, but these are the other things I did outside of my job description
I see.
that added value to the organization, save them money, it could be this, that, and the, whatever it is, and have the data behind it. And then you ask for a raise. Because if you just go in and say, oh, I'm a good person, I show up every day, by the way, I need an extra, they're gonna look and say, I'm so sorry. But if you can show you add value and you're mitigating risk and you're, it goes back to business. Business is business.
Business is business.
Yeah.
That's so powerful. So it goes back to just documenting the process and putting in the work, doing what's on the job description, and if you go above and beyond, then documenting it.
Yes.
I like that.
100%. Because they can't argue that.
Oh yeah, that's so true. That's so true. I am actually learning, and I'm also reflecting on my previous role. I wasn't doing that, but I had things in my head that I had done, and it was not data driven, to your point. I also couldn't step up and go to ask for a promotion or to ask for a raise, because I'm just thinking, can you not see what I'm doing? I like the fact that you mentioned documenting it and going to present it.
Yeah. And the other thing too, you might document and have all the numbers in place, but there's just not enough money in the budget to give you an increase.
Oh yeah.
It goes back to business, it's not personal, right? But you can put it on your resume.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I like that. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for that. Oh wow. Yeah, I'm so caught in it. Many organizations are experiencing restructuring and layoffs. How should professionals prepare for uncertainty in today's job market? You mentioned having an emergency fund on the side that sets you up for the next 6 months. Is there anything else that people can prepare themselves for these unforeseen circumstances?
I would definitely, when you're talking about, like, if you graduate and you start in the market and then you get a job and there's possibility down the road, many years down the road, or hopefully never at all, a layoff, what to do now before then. Always plan for the worst and hope for the best is what I always say. And when you get a paycheck, doesn't matter how big or small that paycheck is, always pay yourself first. What I mean by that is put money away in your retirement as fast as you possibly can, as young as you possibly can, because that money just compounds over many, many, many years. Pay your bills, but then as you have your paycheck, whatever percent you can afford, start putting money away into an emergency fund and try to have, a month's worth of living expenses, up to 6 months. So, God forbid if you're ever laid off, there's that emergency fund. You're still gonna have to put gas in the car. You're still gonna have to have car payment. You're gonna have to use those two things in order to find work. You never want to be in a position where you're not sure how you're going to put food on the table for your family, or how you're going to pay rent or mortgage. So always plan for the worst, hope for the best. Pay yourself first. Retirement, savings, retirement is so important. Pay your bills, but have to have that emergency fund. And because it happened to me, I being in HR, I started working at the age of 12, never been unemployed, never written up, ever. And then, September 9th, 2020, I was laid off at no fault of my own. It was a business decision. I made too much money. I made a lot of money. And I made over $200,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I was at $200,000 savings, off payroll. And, that's 4 people's jobs. If they needed 4 people, or 2 nurses, or that's a lot of money. So it was a business decision. I got laid off. I got hired quickly, by the grace of God. Great company. I love where I work now. I'll never leave until I retire. But I will share with you, if I did not have that emergency fund, during COVID, when the world had stopped, and I had to raise 2 kids, one a senior in high school, one in 10th grade, and I'm a single mom. What would have I done if I didn't have that emergency fund?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I can just imagine.
That was scary. That was probably the scariest time in my entire life. But I'm grateful. I moved past it and I'm over it.
Yeah.
But the one thing I said, and I said it earlier, it was one of the lowest moments in my life, but I never let it define who I am.
Yes.
And so you just have to have a positive mindset, move forward, shoulders up, frontward facing. More importantly for the kids, you want to show people that you have perseverance. Your colleagues, believe it or not, it affects so many people when people are laid off. It's not just the person being laid off or the person who's giving them communication, you're being laid off, but the peer group who's left behind, the colleagues that still have a job, they have like this emotional sadness because they're working but they know you're not and they know your situation. You know what I mean? So it affects so many people, but you have to have a 6-month emergency plan.
Yeah.
Period.
I like that. I like that. I'll keep that in mind. Going into the future of work and AI, artificial intelligence is transforming many industries. And from an HR perspective, how do you see AI changing the workplace?
Great question. I can tell you from an HR perspective, AI has kind of taken over recruitment, talent acquisition. There's going to be a tremendous amount of layoffs, I think, in the industry of HR because of AI. I also will say I love using AI. I'm 57 years old. I'm a continuous learner. I learned it because I better. If I don't, I'm gonna get dust in the wind in my eyes. What I learned is I can use it, and I have used it over the last several years, and I'm able to do 3 times, 4 times more productivity in my current job.
Wow.
Where I'm very effective. My boss knows I use it, and what I use it for is like revising job descriptions, creating interview questions, creating skills assessments, that kind of stuff. If I have to write a paper, a letter, I will use it. I'll put it through, make sure my grammar looks good. I write I do my own writing, but I'll put it through and it pops out, spell check. So easy. I do think that people need to embrace AI, but I do think like in human resources, it's changing the way we do business. And I think it's just another tool. It's no different than us using computers. Back in the 1980s, computers weren't a thing in the 80s. I mean, not for somebody who went to college. We had, believe it or not, I went to college to learn how to use a computer. Can you imagine it? 100%.
Oh wow.
My first year, my first semester in college, I went into a computer room and they were mammoth. And there's a bunch of us sitting in a room and we were learning how to use a computer. There was no such things as computers in college. I was in high school learning how to use a typewriter.
You don't say.
I promise you. So, I'm 57 years old. I have this thing right here is literally probably 10 different devices that I used to use back in my time. If you don't grow with the technology as a practitioner of any industry, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Learn, adapt. Adaptability is huge. Adaptability is huge. But AI is here. It's around us. We have to adapt to it. We have to find it as a tool, but not use it as the 100% truth. At all. I mean, that would be a mistake. So
I like that you pointed out that it's just another tool. So what's then required of us who are getting in the workplace or people who are in the workplace is to use it as such and just try and learn it and adapt and go around it and see how I can use it to better myself, how I can use it to better how I do my job. And AI also is such a good tool. I also use it. even like brainstorming, like you can put through prompts and just do brainstorming. Like, what is this role going to look like in the next whatever years, and what is it that I need to learn? So it's embracing it as a tool, like you have said. I like that part.
Only as a tool. I mean, I'll give you an example, and this sounds ridiculous, but this is just a small example. In the service area where my employer operates, I had to find every zip code, right? Where in our service area is big, and I grew up in the area, so I know my home little city's zip code, and it popped out the zip code for, I'm not going to say the city where I live, but it popped out the zip code is 1366 whatever, and I thought that's not right. So I got kind of like angry. I'm like, that's not right. So I typed in there. I'm like, that's not the zip code for this city. And it came back at me kind of snappy, and it said, you're right, it's not. This is the way it is. This is it. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow. So again, you have to use a little common sense. Use it as a tool, not truth, but as a sounding board, basically. But it is changing. It is changing the way people do hiring. It's changing the way companies do business. It's changing the way companies look at jobs. You know. But it's all about adaptability, embracing change, and at the end of the day, it's just a tool.
It's just a tool.
Period.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So if you were advising a young professional entering the workplace today, how should they treat AI so that it becomes an advantage to them rather than a threat?
Well, I will tell you, I've been on some HR, and it blows my mind. Some people are so close-minded about AI, and I think it's just fear-driven. And some employers I know don't like it when candidates use AI for a cover letter or a resume. Again, I would not expect you to do statistics without a calculator.
Oh yeah.
AI is like a calculator to me, right? It's a tool.
It's a tool.
I think that if you were to go to an interview as a new grad, and you're being interviewed, and you got asked a question, so have you used AI and how have you used it? Be truthful, be honest. It's just a tool. I built my resume, I popped it through, it looks like that, it looks just like this, or how I would use it if I was in my job and I was having to do some grant writing. I would write the grant, I'd pop it through and have it spit out, okay, this is the way it should be written, or here's how to finesse the document. So it's using AI as a tool in the job in which you're in. But again, I keep using the word tool.
Not truth. The keyword tool.
It's just a tool.
Thank you for that nugget. What habits separate professionals who grow quickly in their career from those who stay stagnant?
It's so clear to me. It's almost like black and white. I'm thinking of this one woman who went to college here at Clarkson. She graduated in 22. I found her on LinkedIn. I was headhunting. I needed to fill a project engineer role. And I will be candid with you. I sent her a message in LinkedIn, told her who I was, where I worked, and why I was reaching out to her. She didn't respond. She was already working somewhere else. Sent another response a couple of days later. She got curious. She responded back. And then I said, could you give me a call? And here's my number. She called me, we talked, told her about the company, sold the company, sold her the position. As soon as I got off the phone with her, I called my COO and the director of engineering, and I said, whatever you've got planned tomorrow, you need to clear off your desk. I need you to talk to this candidate.
Wow.
That's how I recruit. That's how my company recruits. We don't wait. We find the talent, we get it. Because somebody else is going to find this person. They interviewed her. I made her an offer.
Wow.
She accepted.
Wow.
I envision this person to one day possibly being a COO or possibly running this company where I work today.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I see it clear in my mind's eye, because what differentiates this person from her peer group is she volunteers outside of work. She's so like amazingly stoic, but very professional, well-spoken. She's put together, she has a ton of integrity. She's comfortable being in different environments, and she really, honestly, she just shines. And then she says, you know, I want to go get my MBA.
Wow.
We paid for her MBA. She's graduating this May.
Oh wow.
And I posted a job, and she bid on it. And I interviewed her, and she's coming in for an in-person interview. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I talked to her, I said, I know who you are. I said, I want to know why. Why do you want this opportunity? She goes, honestly, she goes, I love this company. She goes, I want to grow. She goes, I want to continue as far as I can get.
Wow.
That to me speaks volumes. It's somebody who is comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
Remember that. Comfortable, because she's comfortable where she's at. I love my job. I'm not sure if I want to leave my current job, but I want to learn more. I want to know about this job. So it's comfortable. I said this to my son. When you become too comfortable, become uncomfortable. Because you stop moving forward when you become too comfortable. So being mindful, right? Being mindful of being that just showing up every day, doing your job, and it becomes a routine, and then it just becomes work. You don't want to go to work. You want to go to a place to make a difference, whatever that might be for you. And there's no price tag on that. You can't pay somebody, enough money to make them feel that. It comes from within.
It comes from within. So it's having that drive, being uncomfortable, being uncomfortable.
Yep. Become uncomfortable when you become too comfortable. Yeah.
That's powerful. Thank you for sharing that, Reggie. What advice would you give to a young professional entering the workforce today?
Well, I can speak with certainty on this one, because my son just graduated from Binghamton University with physics and engineering, and he's having a tremendous amount of difficulty getting in front of people, and it saddens me. And it's not just him, and it's not just graduates, because it even happens to people, and I know this because I interview people, it even happens to people who have given their time and their service to our country, people who have retired at Fort Drum trying to find a job, getting into the labor market. And I have interviewed some of these people, and I know they're not getting the job, but what I do, I don't send a letter, I call them. That's where people forget about the human, putting human back into human resources, right? So I will call these people who were interviewed but not getting the job. And I call every single person back.
Wow.
Every single person back who comes in for an interview but not getting the job.
Oh wow.
And a lot of companies don't do that. I think the reason I'm able to get around that is because I built the HR department when we were small, right? But if I was a large company or working for a large company, I would mandate it in a very kind way to all my recruiters. For every 10 people that you interviewed and didn't get the job, you need to call them back.
Oh yeah.
It just brings back the human
the
element, right? And it keeps people whole, and it helps with being an employer of choice, right? These people are walking billboards for an organization. But I've called back people who have given their service to our country, right? They retired out of the Army, the United States Army. They're trying to get back into civilianship and get a job. And these companies are ghosting them. So when I call and I said, I'm calling you, thank you for your time. I'm unfortunately having to give you some difficult news. I'm not going to be able to move you forward in the interview process, but I want to say thank you for your time.
Wow.
And the response I get sometimes is, oh my God, I've never had anybody call me back. I get ghosted. This is so nice. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I wish I got in the job, but you know what? So thank you. I actually had one man who served our country, and this hurts me because it happened last year. When I think about it, how it hurt him. He cried. He cried. He goes, "You're the only one that's ever called me back."
That's so true.
And you know, he got emotional, choked up, and I didn't know then what was going on for people looking for work until I spoke to him and I started calling people back up. And sometimes I give advice, like this one young woman came in and she just like literally cracked in the interview. She just was all over the place, and so my advice to her is to practice in a mirror. You know, you got all the skill, you got all the ability, but you got to sell yourself. And I said, and I want you to like audio record yourself, put it on video, or you know, just she got super nervous, she couldn't even get the words out. But my point is, going back to my son Luke and yourself and other people who are soon to be graduates, you got to do more than just apply. You got to do more than just go on in a system and put your resume and cover letter in and apply online, because you're not going to be seen. You got to put yourself out there, and whatever that might be. It could be the phone call. It could be, you know, sending a message in LinkedIn. It could be, you know, I said to my son, get in your suit and get in the car and go. And he did, and he's starting to get callbacks. But he's getting a lot of no's after several interviews because there's more talent in the workforce right now with experience, and he's got none. So so he got a call last night from his boss, and his boss is talking about him and said, "Hey, would you want to do some work on the side, building a website?" And Luke said, "Sure."
That's amazing.
You know, you're doing this. You know, you've got some amazing skills. I said this to you earlier. You're interviewing me. You coordinated this, you cold called. Those are skills that, I mean, those are amazing skills.
Thank you.
So when you go to an interview and you talk and they say to you and they ask you a behavioral question, so explain to me a time in which you prepared, and then you can give this as an example.
Amazing. Thank you.
And oh, by the way, I got a podcast, and this, you can go and look at. I mean, honestly, that's huge.
Thank you.
Seriously, it's huge. It's gonna help you.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. You spoke about being in the workplace, the things to those tiny bits of things to know and to be aware of or to be wary of. For example, friends, for example, like how to carry yourself within the company, within the workplace. Once maybe you get a job, how does one carry themselves? How am I making, you spoke about relationships. What are the boundaries to the relationships? What are the boundaries as well to the time that I'm giving to the company? How does a person carry themselves within the workplace? What is it that you look out to?
Depends on the situation. And I will say, earlier on in my career, I was very mature and felt uncomfortable bringing friendship, you know, people at work into my home. I've never done that. I separate work from my personal life. And I've seen people open up their home and having people come in cocktail and stuff. I've gone, even though it was uncomfortable, because I don't sometimes want to see people in that zone because they might do something that changes my perception of them. Okay? And I don't want that for them or for myself. I personally don't do it. And I did it earlier on in my career just to kind of fit in but and people might think of me as a prude and, you know, not in the group, but I don't want to be in the group. I'm there for work, and it's business. And when you mix business with that kind of stuff, it's not good. And if I go to a function, whether it be like a Christmas party, holiday gathering, or it could be a company picnic, or it could be, socializing after work or after a conference.
Yeah.
I don't drink alcohol. I pretend I do by having like a tonic with a splash of cranberry, but I don't drink any alcohol. Again, I don't want to have anybody have the perception of me indifferently. And I've seen on my career, I've seen people ruin their career doing stuff like that. And so, it's okay having friends in work, but it can get messy.
It does.
It can get messy.
That's true. That's true. My previous boss. So when I joined the company that I previously worked for, a tobacco company back home, I was coming from an NGO. NGO people are more people oriented. There is more like that human connection. There's more people. And then when I joined this company, I think I've been a social butterfly until now. I think I'm now older and tired. So when I joined the company, I wanted to be making friends and to be people. And then the one advice that I still carry with me today, what my boss told me is, you have come here to work. So just put that in mind first before you try to interact and to bring people into your personal life. Separate from what we have said, separate your personal life from your work life. In as much as, yes, we're going for happy hour, we're going for this socials to get to know each other on a human to human basis, but those people are not your friends. Correct. They are people that you work with. So 100%. Having that understanding, I think that also really helped me when I now was in a position where I have to be asking people for things because they were not my friends. So I could go and objectively ask for things, and I could objectively say, no, this is not correct, because I have not then messed up that boundary. So that was so profound. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is that I would tell somebody new going into the work environment is, don't share too much. Keep, it's okay keeping personal stuff to yourself. You don't need to air out your dirty laundry, meaning, what happened last night, or that kind of thing. Again, keeping, and I always say this too, and I live this way, is, 81 is the interstate between, Alexander Bay going all the way down to PA. And imagine a billboard, electronic billboard on the side of the interstate. I live my life, even in social media, as if I'm on that billboard and anybody can see it. And I live it because, again, when you're in a leadership role, people, you're on the spot, you're on the stage. You're on the stage with the spotlight on you. People watch, right? And that's why I keep my personal life small.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, I'll take that with me to the workplace.
It's true. It's best.
I'll take that to the workplace. So just to wrap up, if you can give 3 pieces of advice to someone building their career today, what would that be?
Well, I would say always having a positive attitude, okay? Because there's going to be a lot of disappointments, there's going to be a lot of no's, there's going to be rejection that you'll never experience after you get your feet up underneath and you start. This is going to be the most difficult time in your work career, is getting it started. The economy's not where it needs to be in order to have plentiful work right now. There's a lot of disruption with AI. So just being mindful of being positive and don't let it get you down. The other thing I would say is, nothing is beneath. So you may not get the job that you think you deserve because you work so hard to be seen and get this job, but do something other than waiting.
I like that.
Okay? Do something that matters to you, that can maybe get back to community volunteerism, or just a couple of part-time jobs until you're able to, get that job that you're looking for. Don't give up. So remain positive. Don't give up. And then once you get your feet on the ground and you start going in the direction that you really want to get into, bring other people behind.
I like that. That's so profound. Thank you so much, Reggie.
Absolutely.
I like that. I like it. I like so much. And it's not only speaking to our listeners, it's also speaking to me. So I really like that, and I appreciate it. I also appreciate you taking time to come through, and we actually did 2 podcasts, 2 interviews, and you've been just so graceful in responding and very authentic. So I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you coming through and doing this with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity too.
No, thank you. To our listeners, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any questions, and can our listeners also reach out to you on
LinkedIn? 100%.
If you have any questions, I'll put her LinkedIn on the description. If you have any questions, or if you want to reach out, if you need any advice, Reggie is volunteered to do that. So thank you so much for watching, and subscribe, like, and share.